Imagine sleeping peacefully in your quiet cabin, far from the noise of the city, when, at 3:00 a.m., floodlights explode through your windows, boots hit the ground outside, engines hum low, and before you can even grab your slippers, your front door is splintering under a battering ram. That's exactly what happened to Henry Carter, a 67-year-old black veteran who just wanted to live the rest of his life in peace. But Henry wasn't like most men. When those cops stormed his home that night, they had no idea they were stepping into a battlefield, because Henry wasn't just a victim, he was about to turn the tables, and what he did next would change an entire county forever. Before we get into how Henry turned this midnight raid into a nightmare for the intruders, comment where you're watching from right now. I read every single one. And hit that like button if you believe that courage should never retire. Henry had spent his life serving his country. 2 tours overseas, 15 years as a logistics officer, and finally, 10 years training new recruits before retiring. After decades of war zones, all he wanted was quiet. So he bought a few acres in rural Georgia, built a modest cabin with his own hands, and settled in. Henry wasn't paranoid, but he was careful. His property was fitted with thermal cameras on every corner, silent motion alarms that buzzed, under his pillow if anything moved at night, steel-reinforced doors that locked automatically, and, most importantly, a military-grade command console tucked behind a false wall, built from parts he'd kept from his army days. But Henry's most unusual companion was Shadow, a massive black bear he had rescued 12 years earlier as a cub. The bear had been injured by a poacher's trap, and Henry nursed him back to health. Shadow never left. He wasn't a pet. He was a presence. A reminder of wildness, of respect for life, and of Henry's ability to tame chaos. By the time Shadow was full-grown, he weighed over 400 pounds and knew Henry's voice commands better than most dogs. He rarely left the backyard enclosure, but when Henry whistled twice, Shadow would come. On this night, Henry woke instantly when the silent alarm buzzed. He rolled out of bed, grabbed the shotgun he never had to use, and checked the console. 6 heat signatures, moving fast toward the porch. 2 SUVs parked at the tree line, unmarked. Henry's jaw tightened. He flicked a switch, plunging the entire house into blackout. The intruders were expecting an easy raid, but Henry had just turned the house into his playground. The first strike came when they rammed the door. Instead of swinging open, the door's magnetic locks engaged, holding it for just a few seconds, enough for Henry to move into position. When the door finally gave way, a blinding strobe light triggered, disorienting the team for precious moments. Henry used his hidden speaker system. His calm, gravelly voice filled the dark house. "You boys just broke into the wrong man's home. Drop your weapons before this gets ugly." Instead, they advanced. Henry triggered Trap 1, a flashbang from a concealed wall panel. It exploded near their boots, stunning 2 of them and sending the others scrambling for cover. In the backyard, Shadow stirred. Henry gave a single, low whistle. The bear stood, massive and slow, padding toward the back door where Henry kept a reinforced gate. Inside, the intruders regrouped and tried to advance down the hallway. But Henry had been expecting that. He remotely locked the hallway door and released a dense fog system. Harmless, but blinding. Through his thermal monitors, he watched them stumble and shout. Their radios hissed. Henry had activated his signal jammer. They were alone. "You're not cops," Henry growled into the mic. "Real cops knock. Real cops show warrants. Who sent you?" No answer, just shuffling boots and a curse. Henry knew then this wasn't about justice. It was about silencing him. Henry decided to escalate. He opened the back gate. Shadow lumbered out, moving like a silent shadow through the yard, positioning himself between the intruders and their vehicles. The men reached the back door, thinking they could escape, and froze. A massive black bear stood 10 feet away, low growl rumbling through the night. The men backed up instinctively, fear taking over. Shadow didn't lunge. He just stood there, blocking the way, his presence enough to hold them hostage. Henry recorded everything: thermal footage, audio, live timestamps, uploading to a private cloud. Then he called his neighbor, a local journalist, and sent him the live stream link. "Get over here. Bring your camera. You're about to get the story of your career. If you're still watching right now, type Shadow in the comments so I know you made it this far. And don't forget to share this video so more people can see how one man stood his ground." Within minutes, the journalist arrived. Phone. Streaming live on social media. Neighbors gathered at the edge of the property. By the time the sheriff's car rolled up, the world was watching. Henry stepped out of his front door calmly, shotgun lowered but ready. The intruders inside had dropped their weapons, their hands shaking. The bear still stood guard outside. Henry pointed to the cameras. "You wanted to scare an old man off his land? Congratulations. The whole county just saw you try." The sheriff tried to bark orders, but the journalist's live stream picked up every word. Henry played the intercepted body cam audio aloud, revealing the order: "Make it look like a drug bust. Clear the house. Burn the files." The crowd gasped. The sheriff's face went pale. Henry didn't yell. He just said one sentence: "You thought I was alone. You were wrong." Within hours, state investigators arrived. The intruders were detained. The sheriff was suspended pending investigation. And Henry became a local hero, not because he fought with violence, but because he fought with proof. He reinforced his home even more. But now, he wasn't isolated. Neighbors stopped by. Reporters called him a legend. And Shadow? He got extra food that night. Henry called him his quiet hero. Henry's story reminds us that courage isn't about how loud you shout. It's about how calm you stay when the world tries to scare you. Do you think Henry did the right thing by trapping those fake cops instead of running? Or did he go too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. And if you want to see another incredible story of justice, watch my previous video. Everyone laughed at this poor boxer until he knocked out the champion. It's right on your screen. Click it next and see what true love and sacrifice look like. Like this video, share it with someone who believes in standing up for what's right, and subscribe to Black Response for more stories that speak truth to power.